everybody, and welcome back. When we moved to California in 1985, we fell in love with the Mexican food, and today I'm going to be making carne asada tacos. And what carne asada translates to is grilled meat. I did my research. And then I'm going to do a guacamole. Now, for people that don't like it, don't cringe. This is one of my favorites. I didn't even want to taste it when I was in California, but my good friend got me to taste it, and I was hooked ever since. Anyway, I'm going to have Pico de Gallo. Now, all Pico de Gallo is fresh tomatoes, onions, cilantro, garlic, and a little bit of lime juice. It's a fresh salsa that you put on your tacos, or you could just eat it with chips, or you could put it on your guacamole. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Pico de Gallo. Now, when you do your recipe, prep your ingredients first. In other words, I have Pico de Gallo that uses the same ingredients as a guacamole. So what I did is I chopped it for both, and then I put it in containers to make it easy just to add it in to both recipes. And I'm not chopping per recipe, and it gets rid of a lot of labor and time. So I'm going to start out with Pico de Gallo, and what that is just chopped tomatoes, and then I have some cilantro here. A lot of people don't like it, just leave it out. Or you could add basil and kind of make it a bruschetta Italian tomato. I have two jalapenos that I chopped up, and I diced them fairly thin, and one's going to go into the pico, and the other one's going to go into the jalapeno. I mean the guacamole. Okay, there goes our jalapenos. Put a little bit of cilantro in here for our guacamole. And then red onion is usually used in the Mexican recipes like this. And you can use white onion. You can use sweet onion. And I diced it fairly thin. Probably about 2 tablespoons for each recipe, in each one. 2 tablespoons in each one. Then over here, I chopped some garlic, diced it. You don't want too much. This is a small recipe, and if I wanted more tomatoes, which I didn't have, I could drain out a can of diced tomatoes and throw those in there. It won't be as fresh, but you got to do what you got to do to feed as many guests as you have, or family. Now this is about 3 garlic cloves, small ones. And then I've got to get some lime. Now I washed these off when I brought them home from the grocery store, because they put all kinds of things on them, and I want to make sure they're clean, especially with the virus going around. Now I should have zested this before I cut it, and I get my zester and I put my finger here and see which way I want to grate it, because there's a sharp and there's a non-sharp. So I'm just going to grate some of this lime zest in here. This gives it a fresh, sweet flavor as far as I'm concerned. I love zest from either limes or lemons in just about everything. And as you can see, I'm scraping off the outer layer of the skin, not into the white part, because that's bitter. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. It's the zest of 1 lime. And since it's a small recipe, I'm just going to go with half of a lime for the juice. Ooh. We need some salt. pinch. And then I'm going to stir it up. Now the thing about this is you can let it sit for a while in the refrigerator, and then it marinates all those flavors together. Lets the tomatoes get that salt all over them. And then I'm going to go to the guacamole. Now, people get afraid of avocados. These are Hass, H-A-S-S, avocados probably from California or Mexico. And picking out avocados for your guacamole, or if you want to slice them for salads, you want to squeeze them a little bit. Now if they squeeze really easily and they feel mushy, those are too overripe for what you're doing. You just want it to give a little bit when you press your thumb on it. And I'm going to show you how to slice. You just go around the avocado with your knife. Then you twist it apart. Now this is going to squeeze out very good. Now, if I was slicing this, I probably would want it a little bit less ripe. But since I'm going to mash it up for guacamole, I'm just going to go with that. And I have 4 of them here. Going back to my tomatoes, I only had 3 medium tomatoes because one of them started to go bad and I used it up. I didn't quite hit the point on that one. Now, if you get black spots in it, don't panic, because a lot of that is still good. If they're real black, then you picked an avocado that had too much, was too ripe. Okay, we're going to do another one. Hopefully I can slice it better than that last one. Watch your fingers. Don't want to cut yourself. Be gentle when you cook. You don't want to rush yourself. Be careful of interruptions. Now this one popped right out. As you can see, there's some black spots. That's okay. These are not bad. And then I have one more. These pits are coming out, or these seeds are coming out fairly good. I need a spoon. We're going to start just scooping them out of the skins. Ooh, those look good. Smell good too. Let me go ahead and do these. Now if you get ones that aren't as ripe as I have, where the seed pops right out, they tell you to take a knife and this part of it here, back here, hit the seed with your knife gently and then twist it and the seed will come out. Now you don't want to be holding it in your hand when you do that. People have gone to the hospital for doing that. So you just lay them on your counter, hit it with your knife, and then twist the seed out. I'm seeing a little black. I'm going to take a little bit of that out. It all tastes good. And we have about 3 more. Yummy, yummy, yummy. When we moved to California from Ohio, there was this big tree in a lot next to the house we were renting. And I was walking over there and I go, what the heck is that? It was an avocado tree. I'd never seen avocados before growing up because people just don't eat them in, or didn't eat them in Ohio. So I'm going to have to mash this up. Let me get a masher. These are ripe, so they're going to mash quite easily. Don't mash them to pulverize them. You want some chunks in there. You want them simple. This recipe is simple. It's fresh. Don't mess with it too much. Now, I want to add salt to this. And this is very important. We need lime juice to keep it from turning brown. And I'll show you later how to cover it while you're waiting for guests to come, or even overnight, to where it won't turn brown on you. It needs to be eaten within a couple days though. And this is a half a lime. I'm going to say that was enough. So let me mix this together. You can also put pepper in here if you want. You could put, oh, I already did my jalapenos. I was thinking, you got to make it a little bit spicy, but raw jalapenos, to me, are not spicy. Ooh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I need to taste this. I've been waiting to make this for a long time. See if it needs more salt. Yeah, that's good. Delicious. Or delicioso, as they would say in Mexico. I'm going to taste the pico. Very good. Now, Pico de Gallo translated is rooster beak. And it says because they used to eat it with their fingers and squeeze it between their fingers, I guess they went like that and ate it. It somehow got a name, rooster beak. Pico de Gallo. Gallo is a rooster. Pico must be a beak. Anyhow, let me take a break and come back, and then we're going to grill our meat. Okay, we're out at the grill. If a bunch of traffic goes by, I apologize. I have no control over that. We're going to get our meat out. Now, carne asada can be made with different cuts of meat. Flank steak, skirt steak. I happened to luck out at my grocery store and get some flank. So I'm going to put it on the grill, and then I'm going to read the ingredients of my marinade. Look at that baby. I'm going to put some onions from the marinade on here. Now this is pretty thin. I went ahead and pounded it with my meat mallet to thin it out a little bit more and to tenderize it. Let me tell you what I did with the marinade. What we got here is cilantro, garlic. I'm going to put the recipes down below. Coriander, dried coriander, salt, zest of a lime, juice of that lime, 2 tablespoons of gluten-free soy sauce, 1/4 cup of oil. I use canola, 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano. I didn't have Mexican, so I used regular. 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon, teaspoon of chipotle powder, half of an onion sliced, and then I added a little Worcestershire sauce. I added steak seasoning, and 2 tablespoons of orange marmalade, because to add the orange flavor to it. About a half of a gluten-free beer. I use Red Bridge from Anheuser-Busch. And I'll be putting the recipe down below. I'm going to grill this bad boy. It's not going to take long because it's thin. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I took the meat off the grill and covered it with foil while I was making the tortillas. You need to let it rest so the juices can come back into the meat. This is what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? Now, in this kind of meat, you have little lines going down this way. And what you need to do is to cut it what they call against the grain, which I have the lines going this way. So I'm going to start cutting it like this. I think my cat is sensing that there's meat, cooked meat. She's circling. What you need to do is you need to cut this up. If you have a chopper, go ahead and just chop it up, but I don't have one, so I'm going to do it in strips. And I took some tortillas, corn tortillas for gluten-free, and I put them in some dry skillets. Put it on high on an electric stove, which is about 8 on your knob. And then as I made them, I covered them with a towel to keep them from drying out. So I'm going to load this one up. As you can see, the tortillas have some crunchiness to them. So I'm going to put some beef into this. Probably for me, a couple slices, because I want to add all this good stuff in there. I put some wrap over the Pico de Gallo, and I'm going to spoon some of that on here. And then guacamole. I wanted to show you how to keep it from going brown on you. Take your saran wrap and push it down over the top to where there's no open where the air can get in, and it doesn't turn brown on you. Now this only lasts maybe a couple days, so make sure you eat it up. And there's my guacamole. I have some lactose-free sour cream. Now remember, lactose-free does not mean dairy-free, but I seem to be handling it pretty good, so I'm going to put that on top. And then I want some more cilantro, just a dash. And I want some red onion. Just a dash. Now, I have some salsa verde, which is a green salsa. You can put your red salsa, go back to the homemade salsa I made in my first video. I'll tag it down below. And you want to put a little bit of this on. Now, isn't that pretty? Wouldn't you eat that? Okay, let me do a taste test. Oh man, this is like being in heaven. The beef is tender, seasoned real well with my marinade, and then the toppings just make the rest of the taco. I hope you make this. I'm going to leave all the recipes down below because I kind of skipped over a little bit on the marinade, but I'm going to put those down below. Leave me any comments, questions. If you have anything you want to see in the future, let me know, and I'm going to say adios.